I'm an AG. I'm an AG.
I'm a city attorney. I'm an assistant city attorney. Oh, we're live, by the way, just so you know.
Well, I mean, oh God. I mean
Yeah.
that is what wait a minute, what was it? That's unfortunate.
Exceedingly unfortunate. You have to say it the right way with the correct
Oh
tone.
yeah.
That's exceedingly unfortunate. So, yeah, we're live. We've already got some people tuning in. Folks, if y'all didn't know, you've seen us do a couple of Facebook posts, but I want to thank everybody that's been watching and sharing and, you know, commenting and reaching out to your councilman like we said in post. I want to show y'all, if you can't really see it, it's down here in the lower right. But this is that exceedingly unfortunate Richard Ray Facebook reel, short video, vertical video. It is now at nearly 32,000 views just on Facebook. That is insane. That is half the population of Bossier City has viewed that video.
Who knew?
And I guess to be fair, I should post the video of his rebuttal email he sent to Keel. Aaron and them read it on air. So but when you read his rebuttal and you listen closely to that or go watch the actual whole meeting, which is at about 10,000 views, by the way. Thank you, Bossier City. You're welcome. It's that whole exchange is just incredible. And what he sent in to Aaron via email to Keel when they were talking about it, a week ago or whatever, it's just complete BS. Because he mentioned the server 3 or 4 times. He was not unsure of what he was talking about. He was obfuscating. Anyway,
wait a minute. Are you using a Jeff Sadow word on me? That sounds like something he would. That sounds like something he would say.
But I didn't mix my big words and mix the grammar around to, Anyway, we like you, Jeff Sadow, but sometimes you gotta move some of that verbiage down to, I don't know, what's the usual deal? About a 7th or 8th grade level for most people.
I'm telling you, he used some big word in his last article, and I was like, "Dadgum, I'm gonna have to call him and ask him what the heck that means." I said they didn't use nothing like that in Halton when I went to school.
Yeah, you have to have the dictionary and the thesaurus and everything else while you're reading his article. We love you, Jeff. Most of your articles are spot on, but sometimes you have to run it through an interpreter to read it. But anyway, I digress. This is not about Jeff Sadow because he's got a really good article on the Bossier Parish Police Jury that we're going to take a look at. But that video of Richard Ray is exceedingly like 80% of the views don't even follow Bossier Watch.
Wow. Wait a minute. Does that mean we have to buy him lunch or something?
I guess we kind of owe him. Maybe I'll give him a coffee mug and I'll put exceedingly unfortunate at the bottom of it.
Yeah. Well, talking about exceedingly unfortunate and, Richard Ray being a lawyer and an ADA, I mean, it seems like sometimes those people just think that they're above the law. Who knew?
Yeah. I mean, what's that video clip that you've got where they keep talking about? We were just looking at it pre-show to get ready. I should have just watched it during the show. It's hilarious, but I'm an AG. And just like I could imagine Richard Ray as the state police are taking him off in handcuffs. I'm an assistant city attorney. Who cares?
Play a little bit of this so that folks can kind of see what we're talking about. I mean, I don't know, because I'm struggling with what is this? What is this? Is this the definition of a Karen? I mean, is this what a Karen is, or is this just simply entitlement?
I think it may be a mixture of both. So just for a little context, this is from Rhode Island, and this is Rhode Island Special Assistant AG Devon Flanagan. I don't know. Anyway, so this is in Rhode Island, but this is actually really, really interesting. All right, let me hit the buttons here.
You should come over. This is not showing.
I want you to turn your body cam off. Protocol is that you turn it off. If a citizen requests it to turn it off, she's a lawyer.
So they want you guys to leave?
Yes, we're gonna leave.
Let's just leave. Let's just make it easy, okay?
We're to make it easy.
No, that's not.
I am.
Okay.
I'm her
That's
husband.
not the point. Can you look at me?
Yeah, we'll talk over here, okay?
Your protocol is.
Can we all talk? Can we all talk?
We'll talk over here. They want you to leave.
Your protocol is.
Can we talk?
Who is she to you?
What's that?
No, nothing happens. Nothing.
She is our college friend.
Okay. This is a friend.
Yes.
No, I'm not.
You guys just want to know? Do you want them trespass?
Anything we can do. Trespass, yeah. I just need
Trespass, you gotta
yeah,
know.
please. It's the only way.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
Do you want to chat?
I know that your
All
protocol
right.
is.
So you're trespass, so we gotta leave now. Unless you want to be in
We're not
handcuffs.
trespassing. You haven't notified us that we're trespassing.
You guys
Number
don't
one.
trespass. What
Number
did I just say
two.
to you? You're trespass.
Number
Let's go.
one. Number one.
I don't
Number
want
two.
to arrest you guys.
You're not going to arrest us. Number two
So let's
is
leave.
that
We gotta go. We gotta go.
protocol
Let's go.
is
Let's
Can we
go.
calm down for 1
protocol
second?
is if we
Yeah.
ask you to
I
turn
don't
the
want.
body
I don't
cam
want to
off.
deal with this. Let's
Okay.
go.
No,
I understand you don't want to deal with it,
Okay,
but the
let's go.
protocol
Wait,
is,
wait,
and your
can
protocol
you
is if I
relax?
ask you to turn off the body cam, you have to turn it off, and that's your protocol.
She's a f***ing lawyer, so she knows.
Well, that's lawyer stuff, so that's not true. So we gotta go.
No, it is. That's law.
I'm an
What's she
AG.
saying?
I'm an AG.
Good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
Can we play the drinking
We're going.
game every time she says
Excuse-
AG?
We're leaving.
Please don't.
We're
Please
leaving.
don't put your hands on
You
us.
can stop it
Can you
right
get
here.
your children out of
You
here?
jump forward.
I don't know why.
I'm sorry. What?
Let's
That's
go.
not a violation.
No.
So she's an AG, but she doesn't understand property rights.
But did you hear what he said to her? She says, I'm an AG. He said, good for you. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
I mean, there are some times where I'm critical of the police force, but he is giving her a lawful command. The owner or manager of the establishment says, yes, trespass, whatever we got to do, get them out of here. Well, that means get off the private property. And she's refusing to comply because she's an AG. She's an AG.
Well, she says she's an AG no less than 100 times, and it didn't change a damn thing. Ultimately, they both get frog marched to the car in cuffs, and the one on the right ends up getting put on the hood to get, help reduce engine temperature of the car.
Yeah, so you can see there's one of them getting cuffed and she's fixing to get stuffed. And the other one, let me get up here to this part. So there's one, she's getting stuffed in the car. And then number two, she throws a sure enough temper tantrum. Here we go.
Get out of here. Get back. Get back right now. Get back.
No,
Get back.
That's the easy
Get
part.
cuffs.
Yep. I know. Let me get up here. So she evades getting in the cuffs. See, she's escaped the cuffs.
Come on, babe.
No.
All right.
Stop touching
Babe,
her.
I'm right here.
No,
I'm right here.
babe, please, I'm scared.
I'm right here.
Please don't do this.
Scared.
Please
I'm right
don't do
here.
this. No, I'm not gonna find my hands.
I'm right here.
No.
Okay,
No, please don't do this to my friend.
I'm right here.
No,
Right
no,
here.
no, babe,
I'm right here.
babe,
I'm right here.
no, babe.
Relax.
Crazy. Wait till they get her in the. They try to stop her from the cruise.
Babe, no!
You got two to say.
I'm right here.
Get
No!
Guys,
Just put her in.
No!
I'm right here.
Get back, bro. Get your feet in the car.
I'm right here. I'm right here.
Get your feet in the
He's got to
car.
work at it for a couple of minutes to get her stuff into the car.
No!
Get your feet in the car.
Who the fuck are...
Get your
Excuse
feet
the language.
in the car. You're a grown adult. You're acting like a kid.
Dad!
Babe, I'm right here. I'm right here.
No!
All right, enough
I
of that.
woke up.
So
I woke up this morning and I seen this, and when I seen the girl screaming, I'm a lawyer, I'm an AG, no less than 100 times, and then every one of them getting thrown in the back of the paddy wagon after it's over with, and that cop saying the first time she says, I'm an AG, good for you, I don't give a shit. I got it.
Right. Like I said,
got it.
sometimes I'm critical of law enforcement for certain things that they do, but they were absolutely in the right on that deal. It was just spot on.
This, I don't know, call me weird. This video was liberating to me. My day had not even started and I had a hop in my step. I felt good about it. Everything all day after this video.
Val Baker says, tase her. Yeah.
So
That's
is that just
hilarious.
entitlement or is that, a true Karen? I don't know. Both of them.
Well, and look, we've made some posts that have been very critical of our own AG, Liz Morrell, and we're going to talk a little bit more about some of that, and while we're not cutting her any slack either, but
zero,
anyway.
not a none.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and do the break and that sort of thing and get that out of the way and then come back and we'll just dive right into it.
I say we just keep going. Let's dive right in. No break.
Hey, sounds good to me. So I do want to do our little intro and ad, to help out, y'all's mortgage business and also the Ferrises with Pelican Training. So folks, hang on about 20 seconds. I'm going to run the intro ad. We'll be right back. Hold on. Don't leave. Podcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. Well, that was kind of short and sweet.
That was short and sweet.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of take a walk down several lanes today, and it's not going to be a long show. This is going to be a good and short show. But hey, this is going to be the show, Rex, that we give everybody watching the show the opportunity to put themselves in the place of an elected official.
Oh.
We're going to give them. We're going to propose an issue and we're going to show them and give them the details. And this is something that's going to be coming up and they're going to get the opportunity of what would I do if I'm one of these elected officials and I'm faced with this issue, how am I going to vote?
Oh, so it's kind of like a test.
Yeah, it may be a test, but it's kind of to, show folks what, actually put you in a situation. Sometimes we all know elected officials, we don't take up for a lot of them. We criticize most of them that they make bad decisions, but admittedly they get put in some awkward situations that are not comfortable and there's not really a right answer. And that's
true.
You're trying to pick the best answer to a problem. And
okay,
this is no doubt. So
yeah, we can do that. So and I'm not up to a super long show tonight. Anyway, I have new eyeballs, so I'm actually seeing the screen much crisper, much probably to the dismay of our elected officials. But I am still getting used to these glasses. So anyway, thanks to Dr. J who is a Benton resident. Segue. We're going to be talking about Benton here in a little bit. So thanks to Dr. J up at Vista Vision. He has been a long-time friend of mine, and he took care of me and got me some new eyeballs relatively cheap. So pretty good.
There you go.
All right. Where do we want to go first? I see in the notes this Google Street View or something that we want to pull up. Are we ready for that yet? Or what do we want to tackle first?
Let's go to the Google Street View and let's show everybody physically so they can see it for themselves and they can come to a little bit of a decision here. And I see a lot of folks. I see Ricky Bridges, Heath Harvey. I hadn't seen Heath Harvey's name in a while.
Oh, wow.
Good to see Heath in the comments.
Yeah.
Rusty Maddox, of course, and Val.
Yeah. Didn't even see those comments down there yet, but nice to see all of y'all watching. Okay, so I've got this pulled up. I can make the screen a little wider, but is this a good enough view?
Yeah, that's a good enough view right there. So where we're at, guys, is Benton Road. Y'all know just north of the overpass to Benton, formerly called the Walter O. Bigby Carriageway. But we're right here at the corner of Benton Road and Douglas Drive. and some of you may know where that's at, some of you may not, but the street you see to the left of the screen, that's Douglas Drive, all residential houses from Benton Road all the way to Airline Drive. And then, of course, you got Benton Road, and it's almost commercial business, north to south.
Mm-hmm.
And if the direction we're looking right there, you see on that corner property right there, everything to the south of this corner right here is all commercial. It's all businesses. There's no residential there.
Right.
Well, this residential property, I don't know any of the reasons why, but it came available and for sale, and someone bought it, for a potential business. And
Okay.
I'm told, allegedly, there's a chiropractor that wants to make a chiropractor's office out of that.
Okay.
The issue here is that it has a circle driveway there, and it has 2 curb cuts on Benton Road.
Right.
Well, DOTD regulates, the curb cuts or the quantity or, all things, pertaining to Benton Road. And they are putting kind of a requirement in here that one of those curb cuts for that circle driveway is eliminated. So what's going to happen is it will have to go to the city council. Your city council members will have to decide whether or not to approve or not approve this business based on whether it has 1 or 2 curb cuts. So the issue is for it to be able to proceed, one of the curb cuts have to be gotten rid of, and then it has to empty out onto Douglas Drive, the residential street.
Okay.
So the problem you have is the folks in the residential area don't want commercial traffic emptying out onto the to the residential roadway. And, DOTD doesn't want it to empty out onto Benton Road there because there's already too much stuff kind of coming through there. So you've got the residents and you've got someone that's trying to do a business interest thing.
All right, but let's pause for a second. So this is still in the city limits, right?
Correct.
So why don't they just go get in the free parking lots line? Have one of those handy dandy free parking lots cards and just get a free parking lot and get whatever curb cuts the state mandates.
Well, I
couldn't resist. I couldn't resist.
But okay, but is that your solution if you're a sitting city councilman and you have to vote on approving this based on dumping it out onto the residential street, making the people on Douglas Drive mad because you've got commercial traffic being emptied out on there, or do you not approve it? What do y'all think? I mean, because
all right. So, and you may not know the answer to this yet. Why does DOTD not want to give them multiple curb cuts? I mean, basically leave it as it is. Is there a specific reason? Do we know that, or is it just arbitrary? That's what they want.
Well, that's just what they want. But okay. I mean, obviously the traffic that's flowing up and down Benton Road right there, I mean, it's heavy, and trying to reduce as many curb cuts as possible. I mean, I can see that. And I don't know if you look right there on me personally, I don't know the quantity of traffic that's going to dump out there onto Douglas Drive. I would suspect if it's a chiropractic office, I wouldn't think it's going to be too much. And
no, that's what I was thinking. Not really.
Yeah, that's kind of me. I'm not thinking so either. But interestingly, I don't know if you can move a little bit, but there's a fire plug right on the corner. And if you get right by the fire plug where this driveway would empty on Douglas, there's a sign. Well, you can't see it. Yeah, you can right there, just towards the house. It's got like a no business, no commercial vehicle sign. So you literally are going to dump commercial traffic right there where you've already got a no commercial sign.
I wonder if they allow UPS and FedEx to come down there.
Well, I'm sure nobody has a problem with that, but
it's the same thing. I'm just pointing that out. It's always made me wonder. I'm
But
sure folks don't mind, UPS and FedEx dropping off their Amazon and Temu packages and TikTok shop packages.
well, either way, you're either going to make residents mad if you allow the business to move forward and it dump out onto the residential street, or you're going to make the person that's just wanting to, they bought the property, they're wanting to make it a business on Benton Road, and you're going to make them mad. I mean, who's right, who's wrong?
I get it. That's a tough call. I still don't see what the problem is with the multiple curb cuts. I mean, they're literally already there. Let me see if I can get over here. I mean, they're literally already there. Granted, chiropractic clinics probably arguably may have more traffic than this residential, but I mean, there are cuts all the way down, up and down here with parking lots. I mean, come on.
Oh, there's tons. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm guessing DOTD has the sole rights to be able to dictate how much of access you can or cannot have to their road right there. I mean, and so, I mean, as a city council, what do they do?
Well, look, hey, good thing for former city councilman David Montgomery, and I guess for the rest of the council. Apparently, do we know if DOTD is going to put in a median raised curb right there, or are they going to have easy access to this chiropractic clinic? I'm sorry. Those are just softballs that are too easy for me to make fun of. I can't stand it.
I'm not even going to touch that one with a 10-foot pole. But what I can tell you is if anybody down there wants to try to get the city to spend some money, that's all they got to do is just put some kind of raised surface in the middle of the road.
Yeah, I heard Richard Ray was going to open a new office. Allegedly, sources say that Richard Ray is opening a new office to help pay for a new email server, and he's going to be also giving out, since he's head of the risk management for the city, he's also going to be giving out free parking lot cards to the first 100 people that come by and donate to the server fund for his email.
You just gave me a great and wonderful idea. I think probably the city attorney's office ought to be relocated out of, the city hall and relocated over there to the oil change place off Benton Road.
Oh, yeah, the city does own an oil change. Are they actually doing any oil changes there?
Well, there's nothing happening there, but I mean, I could see Richard have his desk right down in the oil pit in the bottom.
He'd be right there where all the action is.
That
right there where all the risk managing is.
That would be exceedingly unfortunate.
Yeah, so let me get a few comments up there. Of course, Mr. Sadow reminds us of curb cuts in Link Coleman. Bobby Balu says, yes, I drive down that road a lot. Hope I said your last name right, Bobby. And I'm the mailman. Cindy says, that particular business may not garner a lot of traffic, but it would set precedents for others. That is very true. Good point there, Miss Cindy. And Margie says, everyone cuts down Douglas Drive. My bank is on the other end, but I don't go down Airline. I go down Benton Road and cut up Douglas. There's also dry cleaners at the other end that people cut through Douglas to get through. So obviously there's already a lot of through traffic there. And I'm sure UPS and FedEx trucks too.
I think it is too, and I think probably the maximum amount of traffic that you'd see was maybe 7 to 8 cars at various times entering and departing from the business per hour per day. Yeah. So it's 7 to 8. I don't know,
but it is the principle of it. I mean, I agree, with Cindy that it does set a precedence for other potential businesses as, the businesses continue their march northward.
And one of the reasons I say that is I think, I kind of heard about this little deal and I thought to myself, I said, folks watching the show, I mean, our elected officials, they're normal people just like us. I mean, in the last show, some people call me a water carrier or whatever and give some of the new people a chance or whatever. Well, the thing is they're a lot like us. They some of them have a good knowledge base of some things and not others. But I think in a situation like this, they would appreciate being able to read comments of what people's thoughts were. They watch our show. They see the comments that people make, whether they respond to you or acknowledge or say anything, but they do read stuff. So I think it's a good way people could say what they think on the subject, and those guys it can help them make a decision on all this kinds of stuff.
Right.
So
yeah, that is true. Good point. They do monitor the comments even if they don't speak up during the show. And hey, I got to give, was it last show or show before last where Mr. Smith kind of took a little heat from the city council special meeting or whatever, but he did come back into some of the comments and he did respond to some of the comments. So got to give him credit for that.
oh wow, I didn't see that. I'm gonna have to go back and read that.
Yes, he did. And you got to do it quick because, as a reminder, everybody, Facebook deletes live video after 30 days. It means the comments go away too. But we do have all the show archives over on the YouTube channel, so I encourage everybody to go subscribe over on YouTube, even if you follow us mainly on Facebook. Blah, blah, blah. See, I just rattle that stuff off now.
Hey, Bossier City is not always the most important thing. I mean, we spend an exorbitant amount of time talking about Bossier City, but who knew? I mean, that there might be.
Do we get to make
city...
fun of somebody else now?
Yeah, we get to go to another town tonight.
Wow, imagine that. And it is a town we have touched on in the past, but not in quite a while. So who do we get to make fun of? Or let me rephrase that. Who do we get to point out some issues with tonight?
Well, this little town, you never really hear a lot about it, but it's making news. That's the growing town of Benton. Good old
your home.
city.
Well, I don't know if that's your hometown, but it's where you live. So,
Well,
I mean,
I
you
don't
claim to
live in
be
Benton.
from Houghton, but
well, I am a Houghton guy originally, right? But the town of Benton, I live outside of Benton, so
so if you
town-
go to the town council meeting, they might kind of try to harass you like they did at the charter commission meeting. I mean, because you don't live in any city limits, I guess.
it's AKA no man's land, kind of like a lot of people that live between Bossier City and Benton. They live in no man's land, and when we start talking about this subject tonight, there was, I think, Corky Bridges is in the comments. He actually spoke at this meeting, and he lives in no man's land. So, and the thing that kind of got this kicked off was all of you, especially the folks from Bossier City, you faced a water rate increase here in the past. Well, all that business is kind of starting to make its way to Benton, and for the people in between, interestingly, and I didn't know this, but after watching the meeting, Benton buys its water from Bossier, and it gets marked up, and then Benton turns around and sells the water back to the people in between that don't live in Benton and kind of get it marked up again.
So I've said this before. When was it? I think maybe when we were discussing the port and that whole water system down there. And by the way, don't I remember the Queen himself, David Montgomery, saying something about no water rate increases once this port deal is done? I guess that should, in theory, apply to Benton too, because they're a water customer. But why does the municipality of Bossier City offer them a discounted rate when they don't offer the average citizen of Bossier City the same rate? To me, it just seems like everybody should be paying the same rate. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah, that was a mouthful right there. And interestingly, and I guess we're just going to have to jump off into the video of the meeting and cover some of this and get to it, because basically the citizens of Benton are, and I would say rightfully so, they got their dander up because they're having a lot of water rate increases. Now, it would appear that they went a long period of time without having any water rate increases. They had one last year, and now they're getting smacked with them again. And so there's a lot of people that are a little aggravated, scratching their heads, saying, what the heck's going on? A lot of people, probably most of the folks watching the show know that, Bossier City, for whatever reason, they got the letter from the state that said, hey, you got to increase water rates. Even after, like you said, and we all watched it, we do this deal with the port and this water line, we won't ever have to raise water rates in Bossier City again.
Yeah, well,
And
oops.
yeah, oops. Everybody's water rates are getting increased. So this first meeting, some of their, they have aldermen. It's a different, they're under the Larson Act, and you got a mayor, Mr. Friday, and you've got some aldermen. And it seemed to me that the aldermen didn't know, and some of the citizens were all taken aback about this water rate increase. And anyway, I guess basically we just got to get into it. I got to get over there so I can follow notes.
Okay. Yeah, let me click a couple of buttons here. I'll do live control that way if you want to start it. And in all fairness, I have not listened. This is I think the whole meeting was almost 2 hours. This video was posted by Chris Redford in, I think, the Benton Town Happenings or one of the Facebook groups. So full credit to Chris Redford. Thank you for getting this video. We do have the audio of the meeting. And as pointed out in this meeting, the town of Benton has upgraded and has the ability to record and stream their meetings. They just choose not to do it, even though, let me be clear, it would cost them $0 to live stream, with the exception of maybe they might have to have some employee and pay them for an hour or two extra to actually man the equipment. But it does not cost anything in and of itself to live stream to Facebook or YouTube or whichever they want to go. So whichever way they want to stream. So I just want to point that out as we get into this. All right.
Yeah. So this meeting ends up getting contentious, and the mayor and some citizens and even some councilmen, and they kind of end up going at it. And there's a few barbs thrown here, and y'all will hear it. And the thing that kind of got it all kicked off was all over these water rates increases. And so last year, just to put it in perspective, just like the city of Bossier getting a notice from the state, they reviewed their finances and they reviewed things, and they said that, hey, you mandatorily have to increase rates because when it comes to water, there's oversight and accountability beyond the locals looking at it and saying, hey, everything's fine, when it's actually really not. You have to have somebody on the outside that looks at it, and regardless of what you say of the locals, if their perspective is the state, if it's not good, you got to do something about it. Well, the same thing for Bossier. They looked at Bossier. They said, you're short. You got to raise rates because you're going to come up short on money. Bossier didn't have no choice. That transferred over to Benton. Benton got a letter and said, hey, you got to raise rates. You're going to be short.
Wait a minute, pause right there. So the thought just occurred to me. So it was basically a state mandate, and we've talked about this on the show before, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm trying to restate what you just said. The state of Louisiana came in and told Bossier City, hey, you have to raise rates. Why in the hell didn't Bossier know that? Can Bossier not add 1 + 1 = 2?
Well, you're really jumping ahead a whole lot for me to answer that one and go there. But somebody in this meeting makes a really important point that regardless of where you live, whether it be Benton or outside of Benton, but if you are dependent on Bossier City for water and you're concerned about the increases in rates, that question of why Bossier City would or would not know, that applies to you, whether you live in the city or not, because the lack of being informed or being informed in Bossier City, and especially when it comes to decision making, Jeff said I was getting there, oversight, those decisions, I mean, they have a trickle down effect. It ends up pouring back on everybody. And we're going to spell that completely out here in just a minute. So right out of the gate, shots are being fired, and we'll start right here. I think this is the mayor. to get warmed
right.
up. Here we go.
Now, with that being said, we have people that misconstrued the information. They get on different websites, they go around talking about people in the town, about the water system. And I ask you, all of you out there, what do we provide? What do we as a town manufacture? We don't manufacture nothing. We are a service facility. We provide services where you have water, protection with the police department, and we receive that from our water sales and from our what few taxes we get in town. You know, we're not a very big town, so our tax revenue is to a certain minimal degree. So, on a fair share, we ask everybody to pay their fair share. Now, tonight when we discuss this thing, I'm asking all of you to remember, we buy water. It is sold to us. We're only increasing the rate at what the town is, Bossier City is charging us. It's not, it is an increase, but technically it's because of what they're charging us. Because we had a rate increase in last year, and I think Stephanie's got some information on how often it's been since we had rate increases. Would you explain those to those as far as how often we had those, please?
Yeah, so basically, she ends up explaining that, you know, in the previous year, they had gotten like a $760,000 grant, or they applied for it. And that grant that they got, it mandated that they have to have a comprehensive study, just like what Bossier City has to do to be able to get those monies, right? And whenever they did that, guess what? It showed that they were short. So they got their letter saying that they had to increase their rates by, I think it was $5.25. And you'll see here in just a minute, and Chris, to his credit, I mean, I think that's that past journalism experience of his. He holds up the document, and we'll stop when we get to that point, and you can see some of the numbers that he has actually on the document that he's holding. And anyway.
All right. But, and again, I don't want to deviate from this, but I'm just throwing this question out there again. Why does the state have to go in and tell Bossier City or the town of Benton or anybody that they're going to be short or maybe over or whatever on their water? Why can't they figure out that math? Why can't the local entity? Why do they always have to lay it off on the state? I'm just posing that question out there.
Well, not even just Bossier City, but even Benton, you know, and Benton and maintaining their water lines and all of that stuff. Why can't they know? You know,
exactly. That's my point.
Yeah, and we're gonna get there.
Okay,
we're gonna get there. You're trying to jump the cat, and you just got to slow your roll here.
I'm just throwing it out there, food for thought, as everybody is listening. All right, yeah. Whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Well, you know, this point on it wasn't so much as playing it, but Chris Redford, you know, in his wisdom, I mean, I hat tip to the freaking guy. He holds the paper up during the middle of the meeting as they're talking about it. And you can see what they had put out just above that's cut off in that picture that you see on the screen. That's the part where it was taught. It disclosed the grant money, and that it required that they had to have to get the grant money. They had to have the comprehensive study. And then when they had the comprehensive study, that ended up mandating that they had to increase the rate to $5.25 last year. Below that, you see inside the city and outside the city rates for, I think it's 2008, 2013, 2024. And those were when they kind of had their rate increases in the past. And you see how they progressed over time. Interestingly, if you compare that to, say, like the Bossier City rates, you can see that you see below, you see how much of a difference in the per 1,000 gallons the Bossier City rate is compared to the other rates. But you see the additional fees that somebody who lives in Benton doesn't have on there.
Okay. Yeah, and look, I'm not saying that Bossier City nor Benton shouldn't be adjusting their rates upward if their costs are increasing. That's not the point that we're driving at. It's what's the actual justification for that.
Right. So, yeah.
All
So
right.
the mayor here gets to talking, and he's starting to explain about the expenses and the different things. And this is one thing that caught my attention. We'll get into what exactly Bossier City sent to them and what their rates are going to go. We'll do that here in just a second. But he started talking about some interesting expenses, and this is something that all of you, regardless of where you live in Bossier Parish, you're going to be hearing about this issue, I think, in the near term future. And I'm not 100% sure that this is what the mayor was talking about, but listen close to this, Rex. I think you're going to pick up on it. Here we go.
Okay.
We have a levee that has to be repaired. It's going to cost us several $100,000. We have a water main going down Highway 162 going to the school. That is a 4-inch line. We got to change it to a 6-inch line because we've got to increase water pressure going that way. And we got other instances that are coming in, and the increase on this water rate is, I think, on the average, what, $1 on the flat.
So first thing that caught my attention, though, what levy is the town of Benton responsible for? Do you know?
Well, that is my question. I don't know what levee could possibly need repaired in the city limits of Benton. The first thing that came to my mind was the either Cypress or Black Bayou levee.
Well, yeah, but the Cypress Black Bayou levee is controlled by the Cypress District, and we all know, not to rehash that, but we all know that they've got an account that they did drain that's supposed to be reserved for the dam and for the levee and all that. Maybe they've replenished that account, but still, that's not under the purview of the town of Benton. What levee is he talking about?
Well, I'm just playing devil's advocate here. Is that a mistake or not? I mean, I don't.
Or he
I
just
don't
didn't know what he was talking about? Is it true?
I'm sure there's some levy, but we may be way off. This may be the tinfoil hat section.
Okay.
And if I need to put my tinfoil hat on, I will. But what if there's some discussions behind closed doors about trying to, fix the lake? Because Benton has an appointee on the Cypress District Board, the police jury, the city of Bossier, maybe a school board, maybe all of those entities have had some kind of discussion behind closed doors that they need to all ante up a little bit of money to replenish the dam fund to repair on the lake. Because as I appreciate it, Robert Berry is going around talking about how it's a major issue out there, believe it or not, a major issue that everybody needs to be concerned with. And I would agree with him.
He's 100% correct on that. And look, I've got my issues with Robert Berry, but while he had his highly paid tenure out there, he was trying to help sound the alarm on the issue. Now, of course, the flip side of that is he was also part of the Cypress District Board when they literally drained the account that's reserved for the levee and the dam repairs, but that's a whole other story. So it's kind of like the fox letting everybody know that he has been in the hen house, I guess. But if I heard him right, we could back it up. He was talking about, because when I first listened to this earlier today, I thought, wait, did he say levy like levying a millage or something like that? And then I listened to it again. I was like, no, I think he means levy like Levee.
Yeah. So
okay.
So here's my thing, and again, I mean, I'm scratching my head a little bit too, but if you remember correctly, I think he was a councilman on this Benton. Remember when the meeting with Gary White's down there about, we went and hired a lawyer or a consultant to fight Dodie Horton. Yeah, Ginger Court. Remember that?
Oh, and I videoed the meeting.
Yeah, and it resulted in one of the guy who was the president at that time resigning, and White. Correct me if I'm wrong, but White wasn't exactly straightforward on that deal there that day. if I remember correctly.
No, well, he was kind of sort of straightforward. I guess that's like kind of being pregnant, but he was kind of sort of straightforward at that meeting. I mean, he fully admitted it that they just took it upon themselves and hired the consultant Ginger and paid her. I forget what it is now, off the top of my head. And he did admit it at that meeting. Now, there was some pushback from the council, but in the end, they didn't take asshat Weishoff. So, all right. So here's the thing: maybe does the town of Benton? I mean, does it stretch over towards the river? But that levy will be Corps of Engineers, right?
You would think, yeah. So
I don't know.
yeah, you would think. Well, anyway, he goes on about the expenses, and then he talks about the rate increase. So Bossier City apparently, and I think that's in the notes here in just a minute. I ain't looking forward, but he goes to talking about that Bossier sent a letter in the first of the year. I mean, that's a fact. I think it was actually January 17th. They sent a letter to the town of Benton telling them that you're going to have a rate increase. And that rate increase is going to be 2 times. It's going to be once in August of 2025, and it's going to be once in January of 2026. And they gave them the amount. So as I appreciate it, allegedly, nobody knew about, or I don't know which councilman, but nobody kind of knew about the letter or kind of that it was coming. I don't know how that's possible, but that's what I understand.
And look, in all fairness and transparency, do correct me if I'm wrong, neither you or I have attended any of the Benton Town Council meetings this year. They don't stream or video record. They are required by law to record the audio, but they don't publish that. You would have to request that audio, which hasn't really been on our radar. So it's a dangerous word, we're assuming that is correct. Right. That nobody else kind of really knew about this letter. I don't know. Well, I think that's part of the contention in this meeting that we're going to see here in a minute.
And interestingly, I had been told something else. I've been told that there was a lacking of the posting of minutes and agendas and things like that on their website. And I've not went and checked. They may all be there. But somebody told me something to the effect of that there's nothing really posted. So
I checked and I didn't see anything, but I did a quick check this afternoon.
Well, if that's the case, then that would explain some things. Why? Because I know Benton in the past used to post things. It was taken care of. Why? What has changed that now they're not posting things and to give the public, and there's something to support that, because Corky Bridges, and I've got it marked and we'll show it here in just a second, he gets up and addresses exactly that. Okay. So, all right, let's jump ahead to some public comment. This is the first out of the gate public comment directed at the mayor. Here we go.
Louisiana, which is in the city limits of Benton, Louisiana. Correct me if I'm wrong, are y'all going to vote tonight on raising the water rates in the city limits of Benton? Correct. Okay, I've got a question for you. May, June water bill, June, July water bill. There's a notice at the bottom of the water bill that says water rates will be increased in August.
That's correct.
Okay, why was that put on the water bills and y'all have not even voted on it yet? Did y'all discuss this in the back room before a public meeting that y'all have already decided that y'all gonna raise the water rates?
Let me stand and get you corrected on that fact here. The council has known since February and March about the increase in the water rates. And they have been asked to notify their constituency and anybody that knows about it. We've talked about it in several meetings. You don't attend the meetings, so you wouldn't know. But I have mentioned it several times. So to answer your question, yes, we have discussed it. Have we?
Hey, I want to stop it for a second.
Decided.
See, that's part of the problem I noticed from watching this meeting, because I tried to watch it objectively. Okay? And I noticed right off the bat that Friday, I mean, he just he's like a banny rooster in the middle of that thing. And when he says something like that, he's assuming, which again is a dangerous word, that I think that was Mark Crouch saying something, that Mark or whoever it may be, whoever the citizen may be, has not gone and tried to find the minutes of the prior meetings, which one of the councilwomen or alderwomen, if that's what they call them up there, she just posted that commented that no 2025 agendas or minutes are posted at all. And I can pretty much verify that. Again, I took a quick look before the show. So Friday is just opening his mouth and waiting to change feet. I would have nailed him to the cross if I was standing up there.
Yeah, and he additionally said that the council, the alderman or whatever, knew or got informed about the rate increases. He just said it in February or March. I mean, but I think if I'm right, Tiffany Manning is a board of aldermen or whatever, and she says right here in writing, the board got the information the night that the people got the ordinance. So I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but obviously this meeting was pretty contentious, and I don't know who's telling the truth and who's right or who's wrong, but what's being articulated here is that you will, it's being put on your water bill that you will have a rate increase. And the point I think that he's trying to make is did you already decide this? I mean, yeah, we know that. I mean, look, if Bossier's going to have to raise rates, you're going to have to raise rates. There's no, I mean, it's not a question, but if you're going to put it on the water bill that rates are going to be raised, period. I mean, is it a gotcha thing? Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is a gotcha thing.
Well, let me try to paint it another way. So it seems that probably, most likely, Friday's telling the truth, obviously, and we can go pull the public records and pull the letter and all that Bossier City is increasing the rates. And Duke, I think you and I, most people watching would agree that if the rates are being increased to the municipality of the town of Benton, that they're going to have to pass on that rate increase at some point to all of their customers. I mean, they've got to pass it on. So that's not in contention. But what is in contention is the fact of how the information gets disseminated out to the public. So the proper way to do this would have been, or the correct way to do this would have been, you don't put any notification on the bills. You get it on the agenda. You discuss it at a public meeting, which they're doing, at this meeting, I think it was August the 11th. And you get the council to vote, or the alderman to vote or not, or schedule a vote for the next meeting, whatever you do. And then you put the notice on the bills that the town of Benton has voted to increase the rates beginning, I'm just picking a date, beginning October 1. That would be the correct way to do this, in my opinion.
I agree with you. I think the rub here is the way that it was handled in putting it by notice on the water bill that you're going to have a rate increase with no really other information. I mean, look, you and I knew, it don't take a rocket scientist. You and I knew probably before anybody in Benton and even outside of Benton that gets Bossier City water that they're going to have a water rate increase because of what we were following in Bossier City.
Right.
We knew before it was even voted on in Bossier City. But even at that point, I mean, what is the proper way to have communicated that to the public? I mean, should it have been a letter kind of explaining the situation, or was simply stamping it on your water bill that, hey, you can be expecting a water rate increase months ahead? Is that, I mean, I don't know. I guess every person would have a different opinion on which was right.
I've got a deal on this. They have no legal, necessity to do this, but they could have put on the water bill, we will be holding a public hearing on a rate increase August the 11th. Please attend the meeting. They could have put that on the water bill.
Yeah. I don't know what was on the water bill. I ain't seen one of them. But if what Crouch is saying that they said you will have a water rate increase, take it to the bank, you better start saving your pennies and your money and all that. the question he's asking, did you already decide this before having a public meeting or not?
Right.
That it's a fair question to ask. I mean, does it really matter? Is it going to make any difference? No,
Yeah,
it's not.
it's going to get raised one way or the other. It's just a matter of letting people have their voice in the proper manner and get up there and advocate for or against it, and then you vote and you increase it.
Yeah, I think that's the rub.
Okay.
So, well, let's keep this a little bit of a part going, because they go at it just a little bit here, and let's listen to it.
The vote on the rate increase? No. That will be done after this is over with.
Let's ask my question. Are y'all going to vote on the water rate increase tonight at this meeting?
Didn't I answer that just a moment ago? I said yes.
Okay, you have not answered my question on why a notice was put on the water bills for the last 3 months that y'all are going to raise the water rate. So evidently y'all have decided that y'all are going to raise the water rates before y'all take a vote.
We have not decided. That's why we have a public hearing.
Okay, why was it put on the water bill that there would be a raise?
Because if you had questions or any concerns, you could call this office. I have 2 ladies that work in the office up there that...
You still haven't answered my question, Mayor. Why was it put on the water bill that there was going to be a water rate increase?
It's a notice. It was a notice.
It's a notice that clearly states that there is going to be a water rate increase in August of 2025.
It may be in the misconception of that it's automatic, but it wasn't. It's not an automatic increase.
Right here.
I got what you're saying. I've seen it. I've seen your posting, and I understand where you're coming from. So that's, if you got any other questions?
I don't think so.
Thank you.
Wow.
So, I don't know on that one.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, and, Mark, I think, is in the comments, so he can, speak for himself. But I think folks are a little aggravated over this whole situation. And, yeah, he's trying to gig Friday a little bit. And, look, maybe some of it's justified, because I don't think Friday, from what I've seen so far, objectively looking at this, and I don't live in the town of Benton, but from what I have seen so far, it just doesn't sound like he went about this the right way to expect to get any sort of buy-in from the general public.
Yeah, and I'm guessing, and I really don't know Mr. Friday. I'm guessing that maybe, it's maybe something about the type person he is, or the way that he just does things. He sounds a little harsh, and I don't know if that's intentional. I don't think it is. I think it might just be the way that he is, and I'm not trying to carry his water, because I don't know to say, but that's a little bit of the impression I'm getting. But earlier we talked about this question regarding agendas, and interestingly, Corky Bridges had came up, and he made 2 points. One, talking about the fact that he lives outside the city limits of Benton, and they, it's kind of like the bill goes to Benton, and then Benton bills somebody. It's just like it trickles on down. I mean,
all right, I want to pause you for a second. Let me put this one comment up here from Mark Crouch. That's the gentleman that was just speaking, and I think he's wearing an orange shirt or whatever. Mark says it was a done deal. They were going to vote on it without the public's knowledge. Now, the only place I want to correct you, Mark, is it's my understanding, correct me in the comments, that they did post an agenda, and the agenda was posted at town hall or wherever it's legally required. I don't know if they had it in the Journal of Record. But assuming that they had that done, they did the legal bare minimum to let folks know. And honestly, it's up to folks to pay attention to the water bill and pay attention to what's going on at the town hall to be able to come up there and argue this. I would say that, I think the town of Benton should stream all their meetings, and then people could see it too. But I want to point out, as far as I can see, they did at least the legal minimum. Get that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we have literally had to stand by the front door, up to the last minute in Bossier City of the posting of the agendas to make sure that they complied and did it by the law. I mean, and we have to do that a lot. That, unfortunately, if you're somebody that is following local governments and trying to, hold local governments accountable, it comes to the point that you have to do some things like that, especially if you think your local government is doing something wrong. You got to be standing there and ready to document and watch those things. I mean, it's just the way it is.
Yeah, and so Tiffany's got a comment. She says, "You're correct, Rex. It was posted in a timely manner." So they did. I just want to point out, fair is fair. Even though we're very biased on this show on a lot of topics, they did do the legal minimum. Anyway, all right.
All right, so we're going to take off right here on website and agendas. Here we go.
I understand.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, the other race affects us, affects me as it does everybody else.
Yes, and the other comment, they did raise the race back in July. I tried to go back on the website, to the city's website, to research agendas and minutes, and they're not up to date. I called today and asked for a copy of the agenda and was told that I should put it on there, and she did.
Yes.
Along with that, was some soliloquy about tonight's meeting, and obviously not everybody's here. But I'd appreciate if we could update those, the website with all that information. We couldn't do it.
Yeah, we will.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate the time.
So basically, it was acknowledged that they weren't posting anything, and he called up there and he got what he was looking for. But, I mean, to me, and we see it all the time when we see things that in Bossier City that are not there, the first thing that goes to our mind, it's not there for a reason. It's intentionally not there. I mean, that's what we read off of that.
But the truth is that is the case sometimes. Sometimes it's just a case of incompetence. And I say that they just don't think about posting it up there, which they should, because that would help eliminate or help alleviate some of the questioning from the public. And at least you could tell the public it is posted on the website. If you'll do this, it's here. We've seen it many times at the city council meeting where they say, well, it actually is on the website. If you just go look, it might be 5 clicks in, but they've got it up there.
Yeah. So there's an interesting comment right here. So if you're a Bossier City citizen, this one right here, and especially if you've been a Bossier City citizen for 20 or 30 years, the comment made right here is probably going to rub you a little wrong. And I'm not going to be able to help you with this one. You're going to have to sort this out yourself. I don't know if you'll do it by drinking or seeking counseling, but either way, this one's going to eat at you a little bit. And we're not going to go down this rabbit trail, and I'm going to help you. But listen close to what Mr. Ron Jones says, a 20-year councilman in Benton. Listen close.
We've been very fortunate that they've kept their rates lower probably than they have for the citizens of Bossier City. And I hope they don't find out about that in Bossier City. But we've been very fortunate.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I caught part of it. I mean, he mentioned Bossier City.
He said our rates have been probably lower than Bossier City. I hope the citizens of Bossier don't find out about that.
Yeah, that was my question. That was one of the reasons I asked that, was because of this line of commentary, and it got me to thinking, well, wait a minute. And I understand the town of Benton obviously would potentially buy more volume than, Joe Blow's citizen of Bossier City or whatever, but the rate should be the rate. But
it should be, but let me go down that road a little bit. Benton hasn't, as I appreciate it, always been dependent on the city of Bossier for their water. At some point in Benton's past, they switched over.
They switched from Cypress Lake over to Bossier City?
No, I don't think they've ever tapped Cypress Lake.
Whoa. Stop
that's a magnificent idea.
Stop the press for just a second. Cypress and Black Bayou are reservoirs. Their primary purpose originally was to supply water for local Bossier Parish agriculture and all that, but the primary purpose is not for fishing, it's not for wake boats, it's not for catfishing boats, it's not for duck hunting. Their primary purpose is to hold water for local municipalities, farms, or whatever. Why hasn't Benton ever considered they've got their own lakes right there? Why are they so dependent on Bossier City?
It was a decision that they made apparently at some point. I don't know. It seems like might have been a bad decision now because a lot of folks are complaining about not having a contract with Bossier City, and ultimately you'll see in a minute somebody says, "Well, Bossier City will never enter into a contract," and this guy right here ends up articulating that. Well, look, Bossier can't enter a contract because they can't know from one day to the next what it is they're going to have to charge. We will cross that bridge here in a second.
Oh, that's a loaded comment.
Well, interestingly, I mean, hey, who got their legislative notice from Senator Adam Bass? Did you get yours? Did you check?
No.
You probably don't even have a mailbox, do you?
No, I do have even though somebody ran over it, we rebuilt it. But honestly, if I got something in from Adam Bass, it would probably go straight to the trash. I would consider that like Publishers Clearinghouse.
Oh, come on now. Quit hating on Adam, okay?
I don't hate Adam. I actually like Adam. I might not appreciate him completely as a state senator of ours, but I don't dislike Adam.
Well, you know how the legislature uses all of y'all's tax dollars to pay for all of the legislators to put out this little periodical to everybody advertising how great and everything that they accomplished and whatever. I don't know. I think they should quit doing it. I think they shouldn't be spending taxpayer dollars on that. But somebody would say, "You're wrong, Duke. It's informative." And I will tell you, I found it to be informative. So I admit the error in my voice here, but there was one thing that caught my attention on it, and it talked about money for Bossier City to support nanofiltration. And
yes.
it was a lot of money. So that got me to thinking, well, yeah, doing your own water, but why couldn't Benton get money from the state to do their own water deal?
Imagine that. They could apply for state and federal grants, and well, they literally have 2 reservoirs there. I'm just saying. And then the Cypress District would get enough money they could actually maintain the dam properly like they're supposed to, which would negate everything that Robert Berry is trying to bitch about now, even though he was literally there when they sapped the money out of the account. But I digress again.
Okay, now wait a minute. Hold up. Paul Johnson's calling you out. He has called you out, Rex.
Okay, let's see.
Like a dog, he's called you out.
He says, nope, it was built to supply water for Bossier City. Actually, the tax that built Cypress Lake was only paid by citizens in Bossier City, along with some federal grants that you apparently forgot about, Paul Johnson, which would spread the tax burden over all of us. But I digress in the live comments. Anyway,
don't take that, Paul.
The people that lived on the lake did not pay the tax that built the lake. And he is correct about that. And I say this ad nauseum, and it pisses some of my Cypress Lake friends off. But the Cypress Lake folks do not. They only pay about, I'm pulling a number out of my rear end, but when I looked it up, it was like 10 or 15% of the total tax burden, total tax revenue that the Cypress District gets in. The vast majority is paid by the other 80-something precincts that the Cypress District is a taxing authority on. So, yes, Paul is mostly correct. I do know the history of that.
Paul, don't take that from him. You fire back. We're waiting on your comment. You don't take that from him.
This is a live show. We appreciate the commentary, and a little tit for tat is always fun.
Joe D. Country Club, Private Lake. Yep. See, Paul's right.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner.
Paul's right.
I'll give up. He won. All right. Hey, and I just want to let you know, I did pull up the town of Benton, Louisiana.com website, the official website. There are council minutes from January 2025 and February 2025. There are no minutes from 2024. There are some minutes from 2023. But there are no recent minutes from 2025. There is only the meeting schedule And then the agenda, let me find it, the upcoming meeting agenda from the August 11th meeting. I'm looking at it right now live.
Gotcha,
Anyway.
gotcha.
Okay.
All right. Well, the mayor goes on after Mr. Jones steps down and he quits talking a little bit, and he proceeds to start talking about a little bit how good the water is. Let's listen to what he says, and then you and I will retort.
The thing is that people have an option to either stay on the water system and receive good drinking water that we test, and we have in Louisiana investigating. We have it used to be Mancheck. What's the new Wagner Group? Yes, thank you. Wagner Association is the engineering that helps to protect our water system and make sure that we're getting good water, and help us to design our systems to where
your favorite company.
They're an association now, the Wagner Association, formerly known as the Manchac Group.
They're also protecting the water system. I guess they have armed security guards out there now. Anyway, I'm being facetious.
Flavoring the water with Kool-Aid at every opportunity that they can, said James Jones.
They're just out there trying to make a buck and doing a good job, and I'll have always and will continue to contend that Rutt & Buck is about the best salesman that company has ever hired. They need to keep that guy on the payroll. He is just smooth as silk when he's at the mic.
Well, so I'm not going to go off here on Manchac, but I want y'all to keep Manchac in your mind here. We got one little more segment here I got to play before we get to it, but we're going to come right back to Manchac because Mr. Jones gets up and says something again and brings it full circle. And I think it's going to close the deal for all of y'all, but let's jump ahead just a little bit. This young lady gets up and starts speaking, and her first points was pretty good, but the second point right here was pretty amazing. And I think she may have had the best comments of all, that may be kind of where we're heading with all of this.
All right.
I have to just be honest that I really don't like the way you're combative with the residents, and we're all affected just as you are. And I don't care that Mark Crouch has been online saying things. I haven't seen anything that you say, by the way. But everybody gets a little bit more respect, and I think we can all work together. But right now, that's not what I feel like is happening, and I feel like it's at the detriment to our town. So that's all I have to say. I feel like we have to. I know Tommy
we're not here to talk about character. We're here to talk about the.
Listen, I heard you. I heard you.
Yes,
don't get rude with me because I'm not going to stand for it. So at this point, you work for us. You are a public servant for us. Us. We are not being. I'm not being rude to you.
I'm not being rude.
No. Okay, you are. You're cutting me off, and I have to finish what I'm saying. And it is a little bit about character because we are trusting you to go to Bossier on our behalf. And if this is the attitude you have, I can tell you now Tommy Chandler's not going to listen to you because I know him. He's not going to hear anything you have to say. We have to go and make an agreement so they are not beholden to Bossier City. We are now paying, because you guys are going to vote for this tonight. It's going to go through because we didn't really have a choice, did we? You just had to notify the people because that's your bylaws. But you did put it in our bills 2 months ago. And so you had every intention of pushing this through without really us coming here and saying anything. So it's not personal, it's business. And a lot of people are on fixed income and cannot afford these rate increases all the time. So if we can get to the table with Bossier City, that's our best bet. And I'm hoping your administration will do that. So that's all.
So
you know, go ahead, you first.
Well, the thought occurred to me that James Friday should have followed his own advice at the beginning of this meeting, where he said he wasn't going to answer any questions. They were just going to listen and take questions and take notes, and they would, mull over it and, shake their magic 8-ball or whatever, and at the next meeting they would address them. He should have followed his own advice at the beginning of the meeting, but the man can't stand it.
Somebody should have got up there and said to Mr. Friday, when you go down and talk to Tommy Chandler, what you need to do is you need to walk in and you need to say, you know what, Mayor Chandler? That's a mighty fine parking lot you built on Benton Road. Damn, you do a good job.
Mighty fine Tahoes with no decals.
What you think we can do about this water in Benton?
Yeah. And look, so the thought also occurred to me that, throughout this entire meeting, it's always, we're just at Bossier City's mercy. We're at Bossier City's mercy. We're at Bossier City's mercy. Well, damn it, do something about it. Go out there and meet with the Cypress District, and y'all figure out something for water. I mean, the Cypress District already sells some of the water out there for fracking. Go out there. Cypress District needs some money. Negotiate something with them. They literally control all of that. And then you have something to negotiate against Bossier with. Say, look, if we don't put a cap on these rates or do something, we're just going to roll out our own water system and we'll no longer be a customer. Now, Bossier may tell them to take a hike because the port's going to be the savior of everything. But I'm just saying right now when they go to the table, they literally have no bargaining chips. None.
Well, I hate to tell y'all this, but everybody's going to be able to move to the port pretty soon.
Oh.
Did you know that?
No, I didn't. This is news to me. Breaking news.
So you thought, y'all all thought the port was just for, commercial stuff and all that, but oh no. The port is so much more than that. But speaking of the port, Mr. Jones wasn't through talking. Let's get back to the port and Manshack and all things Bossier City. Let's listen to what Mr. Jones's take was. Here we go.
Okay.
I want to say one more thing. The reason why Bossier City probably doesn't want to sign a contract, from being on the council, I saw how much the chemicals went up over the last few years to treat the water. And they don't know how much it's going to go up in Bossier City to treat the water that comes to us. So, they could give us a price and then their chemicals go way up and they would lose money. I'm just saying, they don't know either. Yeah. We don't know and they don't know.
Yeah,
there's a lot of things that we...
Nobody knows the troubles that have been through.
So why is it that Bossier can't know what anything costs? Do you know, Rex?
Gosh. Maybe they don't shop around?
Oh, that's right.
That's,
That's a good one. That's a blast from the past. Bossier doesn't shop. We heard it ourselves at a council meeting. But, I mean, maybe they don't know because maybe they start projects that they don't have approvals from, DOTD to start projects, and it ends up having to build lift stations that are in the millions and millions of dollars, or maybe it's because they start projects and they don't have approvals for, purchasing properties, and they block them in and having to build parking lots and things like that and buy $3 million buildings from lawsuits. How could they know that before you start breaking ground, you should have all those questions resolved before? And I digress. Not just an overpass. I mean, who knew that the railroad on Shed Road would have maybe a question or two about you putting a roundabout right next to their damn railroad? Who knew? But no, we'll worry about that problem in question after we've already started pouring concrete, regardless of what it costs us in the end. Who knows?
It's not like they pay some engineering group millions and millions of dollars to literally sit down and anticipate these sorts of things. Oh, wait, they do.
Oh, yeah, wait a minute. There is some group that has responsibility, but nobody's ever held accountable. And let's talk about the constant change orders all the time. I mean, and if I recall correctly, Big Nano first made its day in Bossier City. And who was that wanted to push Big Nano and do all the studies and run all that stuff? And incidentally, I mean, along comes the port with this grand idea about boring the river and putting a pipeline in big enough to supply the city of Shreveport. And all of a sudden, that same company ends up, well, you learn they're working for both the port and the city of Bossier, playing both sides against the middle. But here we are in little old Benton, and your water rates are going up, and there's no way Bossier City can tell you what things are going to be because they have no idea. Well, he's 100% right. Ain't nobody in Bossier City had a damn clue as to what things were going to cost because that's an intentional thing. It's all done on purpose.
Right. Yeah. Who knew that all these things were interconnected? I mean, gosh. So, all right. So where does it go from here? Because I've got a couple of comments noted, and I'm not sure if we want to get into all of that tonight, or we might, stretch it into next week, because there were some interesting questions raised, on how some of the funding was done by the mayor's office on a couple of items and all that, and Tiffany Manning had some valid questions, both her and Miss Carr, on just simply asking what the actual rate increase from Bossier City was. Now, refresh my memory, Duke, because you paid a little closer attention to this meeting than I did. Do you recall them saying at the beginning of the meeting what the actual rate increase was? Or Miss Tiffany, if you're still in the comments, what the actual rate increase was from the city of Bossier to the town of Benton? Was that question ever actually answered?
Yeah, I know there was a lot of dialogue about that, and two things. One, I think this actually is a good stopping point on, because this is kind of gets to the end of the water now. When the aldermen start talking, they go in about the water a little bit, but then it starts getting into a lot of the other issues, and I think that'll be best for probably the next show. But I can tell you that regarding the increase, the number that was being bantied about was $7.89 per 1,000 gallons, and the rub was that a decision was made to combine both the August 2025 increase and the January 2026 increase now. So here's the thing. Why was that decision made? Who made that decision? And why are the people in Benton paying for the 2026 increase now, months before, or a good bit before? Why was that not discussed publicly until now? And
Yeah.
the decision was arbitrarily made without any input from the public.
I've got we've been on Bossier City so long, and Bossier City operates under their own charter. I've got to go back and, study up a little bit on the Lawson Act and all that, because it just seems to me, but I could be wrong, that the mayor in Bossier City, Tommy, is about as weak as it gets politically. And he does have the power of the veto in some things, but the city council absolutely rules the roost down there. Up here, it seems to be 180 degrees the opposite of that.
Well, it begs the question. I mean, and look, on this issue, the money, I think the difference in the rate increase, it was going to come from January 2026. I don't think it was a lot of money. I think it was a real small minor amount, but that's not the point. The point is, if decisions are going to be made without considering the council or the public's, opinion on it, what's the point in even having a council or even having anybody else to make decisions in government? And why even bother?
That's my point. So I would suggest, I mean, I guess we can do it, but technically any citizen, don't even have to be a citizen of Benton, but anybody can make a public information request. I would do it to the town of Benton just to be snide about it. But you could also do it to Bossier City as well, and make a public information request for that rate increase letter, and they have to legally provide it within a timely manner.
Yeah. So, yeah, 100%. So, the people of Benton, look, Halton, I'm told Halton, they refuse to get off of their, they supply their own water, and there's been plenty of opportunity for them to try to get hooked up to Bossier City and get Bossier City water, but they reject it. And in fact, they're trying to work out, agreements with other water, the little residential water areas out there to try to connect with them and help each other out and things like that. But they're resisting getting on the Bossier City water. And I think Bossier City's got great water. I think that they're on top of things. I know a little bit about that. I don't think there's any problem with that. But if you want control of your destiny, you can't be dependent on something. I mean, that's the way it is. I mean, if I don't want to,
do you want to be tethered to Bossier City or not?
Yeah. And kind of additionally, I learned something else. Did you take notice of who the attorney was for the city of Benton? I noticed it.
Was it Neil Irwin?
It was Neil Irwin. Neil Irwin. That's an interesting person to be a city attorney.
Yes, it is.
You want to know what else? You want to know what else is surprising?
Oh, do tell.
I heard that as of Friday he had resigned.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why.
I don't know. And that may not be true, but that's what sources say, is that as of Friday, he's no longer the city attorney for Benton. So
interesting.
Don't know. Maybe somebody in the comments may know about that.
Yeah, you would think maybe one of the council persons or alder women, whatever the proper terminology is, would know about that.
Well,
all right. So what's? Go ahead. What's next?
I ain't gonna spend a ton of time through this. We'll zip through this real fast without going to all this. Jeff Sadow had a great article last week. If you guys haven't seen it, he's got a Substack link to his article. I think we can share that. I don't know. But the police jury went and did this thing, and this ties into all of this. The police jury went and did, this resolution or whatever, trying to have this infrastructure bank. And to a lot of you, you may have heard about that kind of thing in the past. You may not have heard about that in the past. You really ought to read Sadow's article. It's a solid piece. But in essence, they're wanting to create this bank, a government bank, to where local government agencies can go and borrow money from this government-funded taxpayer banking system to go do projects, right?
Oh, that should work out so well.
Supposedly they can get better terms and rates than maybe what they can get. Well, what it's really about, and it's the why most limited government conservative Republicans, and to our Democrat friends, I mean, no offense, but it's the truth. It's just the way it is. But you see in more Democrat left-leaning, leftist type governments promote this. But what's strange is this is being promoted here in Bossier, supposedly the hotbed of limited conservative Republican government, right? But you say, well, if they can go get a loan from a government-funded source, lending type deal, to get a lower interest rate and saving taxpayer monies by using taxpayer monies on interest, maybe that's not such a bad idea. It sounds really, really good. But, the problem with this, and Sadow correctly points out, is when government has their hands in things, it can get politically corrupted. I mean, what in government is not steered either one way or the other, to the right or to the left a little bit, or to one region gets priority over another region, and more importantly, if one of the things said of why this needs to happen is because there's some difficulties in going out there and getting loans for some projects, right?
Right.
Well, what kind of projects would that be that you would have difficulty in going out and getting a loan? And why would the people who loan money on these projects not want to loan money on some projects? Maybe because it's a risk not worth taking, or maybe it doesn't make sense.
Or they're not going to get any interest on their money that they're putting up to back these sorts of loans. I mean,
Well, John Settle had an article as well, and I think you guys, Settle Talk, that one is a worthy read as well. And he's talking about, and did you see in Caddo Parish, they're wanting to do a big pickleball thing. In fact, Caddo Parish is hitting it out of the park so great, they're going to spend $10 million of their taxpayers' money to build pickleball courts, right?
Wow. That's almost like the YMCA tennis ordeal over here in Bossier. They're just using pickles over in Caddo Parish, I guess.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold up, big dog. Would it surprise you to learn that these pickleball courts, where do you think they're going to be?
Oh, where would that be?
The Forbing YMCA.
Oh, great. Wow.
More grift. So Settle breaks it down that, they're gonna have to have, I think it's 394 player hours per day. That means that each court that they're proposing to be built has to be used 5.2 hours per day, every day, 365 days a year.
I can't see that happen. Look, I have never played pickleball. I hear that it's pretty popular. And look, if the YMCA wants to build pickleball, or some private enterprise does, you got the Chasing Aces 4Play thing over here that they built on this side of the river. If they want to build a pickleball court, let a private entity do that.
Well, wait a minute. It's funny you bring up Chasing Aces. Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the port had some hand in that? And isn't the port funded by taxpayer dollars?
Well, yes, they are.
So why is it that all these great things are only great unless you, the taxpayer, subsidize it in some way, shape, form, or fashion? Why is that? I just don't understand why, the taxpayers have to go build all these pickleball. If it's so great and it's such a moneymaker, why doesn't somebody else just go spend $10 million and build this thing? Why do the taxpayers have to do it? Chasing Aces.
Yeah.
Why did the port have to go down there, and why did the port have to make the loans and do this? But here again, the infrastructure bank. I can see this infrastructure bank thing doing all kinds of projects like this. And ultimately, somebody's going to get screwed. But
there ain't no free lunch ever.
No, there ain't. So I come full circle, because this is all of y'all's money. It don't matter where you live. You don't even have to live in Bossier, but this applies to you. With the last link in the notes, Rex.
Okay.
I came across this one, right? And I don't know, Jeff, if you've seen this or not, but this was an article in the Shreveport Bossier Advocate. This was a pretty good piece. And what do y'all recall the purpose of the port?
Well, it's a port, so you would think big boats pull up to it and offload or onload stuff. That's what you would think.
It's supposed to be about bringing in industry and promoting industry and stuff like that. And I got to pull it up to get to the pertinent part. Hang on, I can't pull it up myself for some reason. But if you read down in there, look at you got it being pulled up. I can't see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there is a certain part that they're fixing a new endeavor, new direction that the port is going into to start financing. And that's the part I want you to read and tell everybody about.
Okay, so let me see if I can find it here because I haven't read all this article.
It'll jump out at you when you see it.
Third master plan, it envisions a river's edge district. Is that where you're headed?
Yeah, right there.
Okay, so a third master plan, a draft for the 1,000 North property acres, was presented to the Port Commission Board and made available to the public on the port's website this week. It envisions a river's edge district that will include retail, shopping, and cafes. There will be places for indoor and outdoor recreational areas, trails, ecological habitat, a hotel, event spaces, office space, and light industrial development. The site includes 2 bayous, which England says the port intends to use through walking paths and trails. Well, it just sounds wonderful.
Well, we're making a new city down there, or shopping centers and all kinds of stuff like that. I mean, riddle me this. Don't we have one of those in Bossier and on the riverfront in Caddo, and there's not hardly a damn business in any of them?
But the port can do it better. They have unlimited funding.
Oh, the third time's the charm, right? We'll just do it down there at the port where there ain't a damn house down there. But it's OPM, baby. It don't matter. At least we'll have a nice place to by ourselves go sit down and have a cup of coffee in between, I don't know, playing Yahtzee at the port or whatever we do.
Oh, look, there's an aerial view of the port. Well, look, I don't know. Oh, look, see that blue building? They do have a place for boats to come up there, at least a couple of places. See, they do port kind of stuff, sort of. But they've got their tentacles and everything. They're going to be competing with the East Bank district. Isn't that what that's called down there in Bossier? And I'd say they would be competing with the boardwalk, but, well, there's nothing at the boardwalk, so it's not really competition.
It's not going to be no competition. It's not going to be no competition at all. There's nothing up here in the city. They build that down there. Even if there's nothing down there, it's still going to win because they're just going to dump taxpayer dollars in it and subsidize it.
So you're saying it's going to be a feel-good type project? Okay.
I'm done. I'm done. I don't know how better we can paint the picture for you guys. It's your money, and nobody should be scratching their heads about why things go to hell in a handbag. And it's people who have these grand ideas. There's some people who are dirtbags.
Pie in the sky.
Yep. There's some people that do things for hidden agendas, and there's other people that they're just dreamers, and they shouldn't be allowed to dream with your tax dollars. And, these are examples of why you should be a limited government type person.
Hey, I wonder why Paul Black has a good comment. He says, build a bunch of pickleball courts at the port. I wonder why the port's not doing the pickleball. He's right. That is genius. That would be a genius move. Come on, Eric England.
Caddo Parish, yeah. I heard he was building a canoe shop or Piro shop or something over there in Shreveport or whatever.
I don't know. All right, so the last item on our agenda, and I can make this real brief, is the LAAG's office. We have been very critical of Liz Murrell, even though we interviewed her on the show and thought she was going to be a great AG, and maybe she is doing some great things. I don't know. She's chasing around the child predators and that whole game that's got like infested with child predators. I don't know. That's fine. But I wish she would pay attention to Bossier politics. She did fire a shot across the bow, finally, to the Caddo Commission over their open meetings violation. They actually filed suit in district court. We posted that lawsuit on our Facebook page, so we would encourage you to go read that. I know it is Caddo Parish, but it's a very interesting read. Maybe just maybe she'll actually pay attention to this side of the river and some of the legal government shenanigans that have been going on that we have been griping and whining and complaining about, not just on this show, but directly to the AG's office. Maybe she'll actually pay attention. I don't know. What do you think, Duke?
I think if you change your name to Bernie Sanders and you have the potential to gather a national headline, yeah, you can get her attention. Otherwise, she don't care.
She's just
She don't care.
Keep taking selfies of fishing trips and all that sort of thing she does.
That's right. That's right. Maybe we need to have a gar rodeo up here and invite her, and she might.
Maybe we need to invite her back on the show. Let her defend herself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh
So,
yeah.
anyway.
Ruth Pope Johnson. Magnificent comment, Ruth. Amazing how just a little while ago she can't go and prosecute anything in a parish unless the DA invites her, but yet here she is in Caddo. Imagine that.
Oh,
I think that was something that was said at the Bossier Republican Women.
Yeah, and imagine, remember, and we talked about this a few shows ago after that Republican women's meeting, and I've talked about it ad nauseum before, but remember when Jeff Landry was the AG and he intervened in the Robert Berry case? And got in a little kerfuffle with the DA's office.
Maybe since it was Seabiscuit who said that at the Republican Women of Bossier, maybe she's looking at it from the perspective of, oh, well, Seabiscuit's going to be probably the next Caddo Parish DA. So, oh, yeah, I can go over there and do something. Okay. I know that's a stretch. Very facetious, and some of y'all may not have caught that, but you'll see in the future.
Where are you at, Liz? Paging Liz Moreau. Paging Liz. Save us, Obi-Wan. Over here in Bossier City, there's shenanigans going on. All right, Mr. Lowry. Anything else?
Beam me up, Scotty. I'm done.
All right. Look, we appreciate everybody watching. We've had a very good crowd tonight. Y'all make sure and continue to tag and share this out. Look, we encourage everybody, if you want to take some of our comment, anything we say, it's all live, no takebacks. If you want to chop it up, mix it and mash it, hey, we're all about that too. Just, don't say too many mean things about us. But in all seriousness, we appreciate everybody watching, everybody commenting, and hope that y'all enjoy the content when we get on our soapbox every Tuesday night.
Good night.